Hi, it's Friday. I'm excited. Though the days really aren't that different anymore. Are they? Not for me. Weekends are the days that I don't feel guilty about being outside working in the yard. That's really the only difference. And here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2020. Right? Isn't it? My name is Jeremy. Yeah. And this is my first cup of coffee. I suddenly doubted myself that it was May 1st. It is May Day. I don't know why that is a day, but be ready on Monday for all the Star Wars jokes and memes, it being May 4th, and people having way too much time and it following a weekend. I imagine there are going to be a lot of people watching Star Wars marathons this weekend, and probably quite a few people just leaning into the May 4th thing. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Star Wars. Not a big Star Wars fan. I enjoy the original trilogy. I think they're really good. But the Star Wars universe never spoke to me the way that it did for a lot of other people. I don't know. I'm not even sure that I'm current on the movies. I don't know that I've seen them all. I have Disney Plus. Episode 9's on there. I'm not sure if I've seen it. I don't remember. I should watch. You know what? Maybe that's one of the things I'll do this weekend, because it is supposed to be rainy. Maybe I'll watch episode 9. And then probably get halfway through and say, oh yeah, I saw this. I don't know. That's how it's been with a couple of the others. They're not that memorable to me. Now, if you ask me about Lord of the Rings movies, yeah, those were impactful for me. Or Jurassic Park movies, or I guess the Marvel movies resonate for me better. Yesterday, I didn't do a lot. Went to the hardware store, bought some soil and some seeds, and what else did I get? Glue. Needed more soil. I was almost out of soil. And there's more to plant. Watered plants. Finished up boiling the birch sap. I gotta pull the taps this weekend. Finished the edits on the first draft anyway. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. First draft of the Grandmaster J Money video. Published that to a few friends and waiting on some feedback. There are a couple technical things I gotta fix, but so far, thank you, Stacy. She says, bless me. Bless you. So far, people have liked it. Oh, excuse me. It hasn't been, at least when I went to bed last night, it hadn't received the overwhelming applause, praise that I had hoped for. As you do with any project you put a lot of time into. But this is what experiments are about. And it took me months to record all this footage. Who knows when I'll do the next one? I don't know. Just as the ideas come to me. What else did I do yesterday? That was about it. It's very little. I did very little yesterday. There wasn't a lot to do. Today, it's Friday, headed up to one of my clients. We are considering the office back open. There are a number of things that need to be done. The office is going to be going virtual over the next few months, and guess who has been charged with heading up that project? Me. So I have to figure out a lot of things, where a lot of stuff is going to go. There's just a lot of work, and that's good. Keeps me busy. I need to work. I want to work. Yeah. What else is on the agenda today? Not much. It's pretty much all stuff for this client. When I'm done here, I'll prep my food, heat up my food, throw it in my thermoses. What's the plural of thermos? Thermos. Thermoses? I mean, that's probably what we'd say in English, but what would the Latin be? I don't know. It doesn't really matter, and I'm sure none of you care what the plural of thermos would be in proper Latin. So we will move on from that idea. This weekend, it's supposed to rain, isn't it? No, it's supposed to be decent. Last I looked, it's been a couple days. And I'll be out in the yard again, getting stuff ready, moving dirt from A to B, and raking and pulling tree taps and cutting trees. The new chainsaw showed up finally. That's all put together. I have to do a safety test on it, but other than that, ready to cut some trees. So, yeah, that's what's happening. Now tomorrow, because my pattern has been go on an adventure on Saturday, whether that's a long bike ride or a hike or a walk. And then Sunday I've done yard work. I'll probably do a little bit of yard work tomorrow morning, but I still want to find something to go on an adventure about. And last I looked at the weather, it was going to be a little too cold for me to be really happy riding a motorcycle. But that doesn't mean I might not go on a short ride. So we'll see. It's Friday. So let's see what we got for jokes. Because on Friday, Frank sends us jokes. Thank you to Frank. Shout out to Frank. I appreciate you. The jokes for Funday Friday. Why did Tony go out with a prune? Because he couldn't find a date. What did Winnie the Pooh say to his agent? Show me the honey. Why couldn't the pirate play cards? Because he was sitting on the deck. Those are good ones. I like those. And then for things for me to talk about, we have 3 quotes today from William Shakespeare. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of debate about who Shakespeare actually was. There is question as to whether it was a pen name. I think I've even read some stuff speculating that it may not have been one person. But I think I've also read some stuff refuting that the writing style was so similar across all the work that it is unlikely that it was multiple people. Now I don't remember who it was, because my British history is not great, especially my British monarchy history. But one of the possible people behind William Shakespeare as a pen name would have been the king, whoever was sitting on the throne at that time. I don't know who that was. But I find it fascinating that Shakespeare is considered, like the de facto standard in plays and poetry and so many things that we still read and perform and memorize today. I had to memorize some Shakespeare quotes and act out stuff in high school. And it's just interesting to me that that's what we do. Why not something newer? I don't know. Gabe says that he read that Shakespeare helped King James translate the Bible. Interesting. All right, quote 1. The eyes are the window to your soul. And maybe this is why we continue to read and perform Shakespeare, because quotes like this they've become cliches. Lines from plays from hundreds of years ago are things that we still say today in conversation. I've always liked this quote because if you take the time, if you really look someone in the eye, if you look at them, I'm looking at the camera, if you look at them and you sit for a minute, you see so much about a person. You can really read who they are if you're willing to open yourself to them. I don't know. I like eyes. In dating, eyes are one of the things that I find most attractive in a woman. So. The eyes are the window to the soul. you can, it's interesting. We're all wearing masks right now, right? I can cover this part of my body. But if anyone knows me, if they know me and I'm covering this, I'm trying not to cover my mouth because I don't know how well you'll hear me. But when we wear masks, could wear a mask, could wear a hat, and yeah, it's more difficult to tell who the person is. But if you know that person, you know that person. How well do we know people by their mouth or by their nose or by their forehead? But we know them by their eyes. There's something about eyes. Coffee is particularly good today. I stopped boiling down the birch syrup or birch sap yesterday. It's a little thicker, just enough that there's a flavor. If I boil it down to actually be syrup, there's going to be nothing left. There's just not enough. But I'm going to try. Something about the flavor tells me it might work with coffee with a latte. So I'm going to try that. I will report back. Second quote, have more than you show. Speak less than you know. Basically, don't show off. Don't be arrogant. Don't be humble, right? Now, the have more than you show, I think I fall into that camp. I certainly, in my 20s, I went through a phase where I wanted, fancy, flashy things. Now in my early 40s, I really don't feel the need for that. I'd prefer to have things that are simple and work and require less time and maintenance and hiding and insurance. Great example, I sold a really heavy-duty chainsaw, bought a very simple electric chainsaw that is much more appropriate for my usage, and put $200 in my pocket. Sweet. It's a good deal, right? The second part. Have more than you show, speak less than you know, right? Speak less than you know. Many of you know that I used to run an IT company, and I had a number of employees. And one of the things I came to find, and this became a decision factor in hiring. People would either brag about how much they knew about computers, or you could tell that they were humble. Now, the people who were humble, they knew more than they thought they did. And sometimes I had to encourage them to push a little bit deeper. Most of the work that we did was repair. To find a problem, no, go ahead, take that apart. I think you can handle that. That kind of encouragement as their boss. But the other people who thought they knew more than they did, the arrogant people, got themselves into trouble all the time. Hey, I took this apart and I don't know how to put it back together. Hey, I tried to do this and now the computer won't start. Even had somebody who should have known better try swapping parts while the computer is powered on. I fired him instantly. You're done. Give me your keys. There was no second chance on that one. I found that the people who thought they knew less than they actually did, the people who were not arrogant, they didn't get themselves in trouble. I didn't have to pick up after them. The worst thing about them was we had to encourage them, and maybe they weren't as productive. But the people who were arrogant, the people who thought they knew more, they got into trouble all the time, and I was picking up after them, apologizing, writing off bills. It wasn't a good thing. So We stop doing that. Be humble. And then our last one for the day. If we are true to ourselves, we cannot be false to anyone. Whether you call that integrity or conscience or God, I don't know, you can call it a lot of things. But if you're true to who you are, if you're honest with yourself, why are you doing this? Should you be doing this? Etc. You tend not to get in trouble. There are people out there who are really good at self-deceit. And I think we know what the consequences of that look like. I suspect we've all done things like that. We've all not been true to ourselves. We've all lied to ourselves. Hey, Laura. And there are consequences. Consequences could be small, they could be big, and maybe you'll be the only one who knows what they are. Maybe you're the only one that knows that you weren't quite honest with yourself about why you were doing something. Self-talk matters. And we're at a time right now with most people stuck inside where there's a lot of self-talk going on. Some people are being healthy about it. They're being honest. Hey, this is challenging and I'm having a hard time. And they're venting and they're getting support where they need it. And then you have other people who aren't admitting that. They're trying to convince themselves that they can handle all of this. And the consequence of that is, it could be a lot of things. A lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration. Now, interestingly, up until a few weeks ago, that was me. I wasn't being honest with myself as to how hard of a time I was having with it. Actually, maybe I was being honest with myself, but I wasn't willing to be honest with others. And it wasn't working. It was getting worse. And so I said, maybe it's time to be honest with others. And I started being honest and saying, this is a challenging time for me. I am alone. I live alone. And the thing that balanced out my living alone and working from home was going out to see other people at night. Going to restaurants, going to bars, going to martial arts classes. Guess what? Not happening. And yeah, Zoom classes and Zoom meetings, they help, but it's not the same. We all know that human interaction component, it's not the same. And once I started admitting it, talking about it, it got better. I was true to myself. I wasn't trying to convince myself of something else. I think that's important. I could find more to say, but I don't know that there's more that needs to be said. So maybe we leave it there. Good stuff. Episodes have been getting a little bit long. I like keeping it under 20 minutes. We've had a couple. We had one right across 30 this week. It's all right. Good stuff to talk about. If people don't want to listen or watch, they don't have to. You can listen. We do still have this as an audio podcast. Check it out. Search in your podcast app, First Cup with Jeremy. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe. Turn on notifications. We do the show every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern here on YouTube. But of course, you can catch it later because it's always available. And if you have a question or a comment you want me to respond to, and I hope you do, it's my favorite part of the show, go ahead, drop those below, and I'll respond to them on Monday. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and if your travels bring you to whistlekick.com, maybe to check out the new strength and conditioning program, which just got a $2 bump. I promised. Price was going to start marching up. We debuted at $19.99, and now it's a whopping $21.99. But guess what? Still the best value you can find by far. Check that out. But if you want to use the code FIRSTCUP15, gets you 15% off. What else do I have to say? Oh, and you can support us with the Patreon. Patreon.com/whistlekick. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you back here on Monday. Take care, everybody. Peace.